My name is Helena, and our topic today on the Moondust Cosmetics channel is about findings in a clinical oncology study. I think you'll find very interesting and that benefit your skin and health care virtually immediately. Our guest, founder of Moondust Cosmetics, is a cancer biologist and primary biochemist, and she's sharing some news you'll be able to use immediately to bolster your own health, your well-being, and even longevity. As consumers, we know that science in search of answers to medical questions often lands us with information that we can apply easily in our daily life, even as soon as our very next meal. Let's find out more, shall we? Welcome, Dr. Moondust.
Thank you.
I understand that Moondust Cosmetics is sharing some interesting news and to its collection of information papers on its website.
Yeah, we have some exciting news today, Helena. I was invited to contribute a chapter this year to a clinical oncology textbook for medical students.
Oh, that's interesting, prestigious, and impressive. What can you tell us about its contents and your part in it?
Well, natural compounds have been used to cure various diseases, including cancer from ancient times, or to treat various diseases. And there's increasing interest in these natural compounds today because, you know, chemotherapy and radiation therapy can be quite devastating. So I've written a chapter about a compound called resveratrol, which is derived from grape skins, and it has some anti-cancer qualities.
Well, we certainly know in our personal lives people who have gone through chemotherapy and radiation after facing a cancer diagnosis. So I know that your work is in cancer research. I wonder if you have the book to show us. I know that's a chapter within the book for medical students, but do you have a copy of the book for us so we can see?
Yes, I do.
And I ask for that because usually when we're talking science, it could be dry, it could be complex, but when you mention resveratrol, my ears perked up because it's a compound that's familiar to us. So I'm looking forward to you bridging our everyday knowledge and things we've heard in the media and your work in cancer research. So let's have the benefit of that book. Oh, and there it is, Comprehensive Clinical Oncology.
That's right. So it's Comprehensive Clinical Oncology. And as I say, the chapter is about resveratrol. And really my motivation for writing this chapter is that I've known so many people who have gone through chemotherapy and radiation therapy. And really it's really very upsetting because the treatment is not always life reaffirming. And in fact, sometimes it seems even like the patients are undergoing a form of torture. So I really wanted to write this chapter about a compound like resveratrol, which is, you know, totally natural but has these anti-cancer properties. And, you know, it's not the only phytochemical, which means plant chemical, that has these anti-cancer properties. There are a number of other ones with that are of interest. For example, procyanidins, which are found in grape seeds, have been found to induce apoptosis, which we're always talking about, or cell death, in prostate cancer cells. And polyphenols in black and green tea, which, you know, you may drink on a daily basis, have been found to kill cells in skin tumor cells in mice. And then there's some interesting compounds in Chinese bee propolis, which have anti-proliferative properties in colon cancer cells. And that just means it slows down their rate of growth.
Mhm. Now, we've heard a fair amount of these words, that polyphenols and resveratrol, and certainly even proliferative, I think, may be one of my new favorite words, because this resveratrol and some of your studies has shown it to slow it and maybe to even prevent it from starting off, as well as proliferating. I wonder, since we've heard about it, if we can review the everyday foods that resveratrol is found in. I know that it's found in many edible plants. You were telling me it was grape skins and hops. So, yeah.
Hops, peanuts.
Yes.
There are a number of things, different kinds of berries, blackberries, black currants, blueberries, cranberries, mulberries, I believe.
And mulberries, right. Mulberries a little bit more exotic, but still commonly available for us. So these, just to summarize, these phytochemicals are of interest to us, and they're derived from grape seeds, which induce apoptosis, which is what you mentioned about the programmed cell death. And
no, not all of them. All of them are not from grape seeds. Resveratrol is from grape skins, procyanidins from grape seeds, polyphenols from black tea and green tea, and then there are certain compounds called caffeic acids in bee propolis. So there are a number of different compounds. But we're talking about resveratrol today, because that's what my chapter is about.
Today, exactly. So we can enjoy a lot of health benefits. Yes?
So I just thought we might review a little bit of basic cancer theory.
Great.
Before we launch into the various studies with resveratrol.
Wonderful.
So historically, cancer theory has really evolved in mouse and rat animal models. And the early experiments were with chemical carcinogens, which included an initiator, one chemical, and a promoter. And the initiator is the chemical that causes mutations in the cell, and the promoter is the one that then causes proliferation and expansion of this colony of mutated cells. But now this theory doesn't really apply very well to complete carcinogens like UV light, which can cause cancer on its own. And so we want to, you see, the initiator in the chemical studies is really a incomplete carcinogen. So there has been some really interesting new research that shows that simply causing cell death or apoptosis in mouse skin can result in skin cancer in those mice. And this is really the theory that all my scientific research centers around.
Well, we've heard about apoptosis a fair amount, and you've discussed the human sunburn cycle, on the website and in previous videos. So it's very interesting that cancer, I guess it's a trigger that we're talking about, that cancers can be triggered from the inside from various variables, but also now you're speaking about UV light, which really focuses on skin cancer. and I guess again triggering from the outside, it means that there is more than one trigger. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're talking about different complete carcinogens, like
Okay.
various radioactive heavy metals, uranium, plutonium, chemical pesticides, electromagnetic radiation. You know, they're just a series of complete carcinogens. And of course, UV light.
Yes. Well, there's an awful lot to digest here, and you've introduced some new terms, some which we're quite familiar with, and some which will be of interest for us to follow up. So I suggest we'll take a little break and we'll come back and review them in a second video. In the meantime, I would like our viewers to subscribe to this channel so they can catch posts on health, wellness, and care tips for the sun sensitive, and also to join us on social media, at which we will provide those links below. Come back and join us for video number 2 about resveratrol and the many benefits.